Computers have always had a predictable relationship with consumers. The more money you spend, the more computing power you receive. It's a relationship that started with the PC and frames most of our technology purchasing decisions today. So when Apple announced their M1 architecture and began updating most of their lineup, it's no surprise that some people felt a little skeptical.
You can now pay real, actual money for a computer with basically the same guts as an iPad.
Because on paper, you were getting more performance than traditional computers at this price point. I want to find out for myself, could this laptop keep up with my demanding workflow of grading 4K footage, editing videos nonstop, processing thousands of images, and countless hours writing? Well, after 6 months, the answer is unequivocally yes. In fact, I think that this is the best laptop a creator can buy right now.
But God might be on vacation, and the promised land ain't never promised. My baby telling me to be patient, but the devil always working overnight, my darling.
This conversation has to start with the M1 chip, an ARM-based processor that brings a lot of the innovations from the mobile world where you get a lot of power in a condensed package with a ton of efficiency. At launch, many of my apps that I already used were supported, but it would take months before other apps and plugins I relied on would be updated to fully take advantage of this chip. But here's the thing. My work never faced any major hiccups because Apple had built in a means to translate Intel-based apps on the fly, and in some cases, they ran better on this laptop than on my fully spec'd out 16-inch MacBook Pro. Let me tell you though, now that most, if not all of my apps are optimized on this chip, I just fly. Whether it's building complex node trees in DaVinci Resolve or sifting through 100 megapixel RAW files, this MacBook Air just flies. Beyond the fact that this is being done by a 13-inch entry-level laptop, what really drives this over the goal line is it does all of this in near silence. Alternatives to the MacBook Air are just about more ports and power. Whether it's the Mini, Pro, or iMac, there are options for those that want more ports and a fan to squeeze out a bit more performance from this chip. According to many tests, however, that difference in power may not necessarily be needed for most people. You see, while there are definitely people that will value the alternatives, I really believe that the MacBook Air will sit at the middle of this bell curve where it will be plenty good for most people. You have something that's portable, feels great to type on, omits unnecessary touch bars, and can be docked into your very own battle station, like the one behind me here. What makes the MacBook Air special is that it can scale up to your demands as needed without any significant trade-offs. The opinion of many tech reviewers I respect intrigued me enough to give this machine a fair shot, and my overall work has been better for it. Being able to edit in Final Cut in bed without the fans kicking up like a jet engine and nearly burning my flesh off is not something I thought would be possible anytime soon, but here we are. Compound all these benefits with fantastic battery life that you'll get through even the most demanding days, you have something that's quite nearly perfect. Nearly. So what's holding this laptop back? I had to really think about this, and to be honest, there's only two things about the MacBook Air that I feel are lacking. The first could have easily been solved by Apple, and that's the webcam. The one here is lousy, and it feels like an oversight. With all the iPhones available, it's really surprising that Apple couldn't take a 4K camera from somewhere in the supply chain and adapt it to this laptop. Is this a deal breaker? I don't think so. But it's as if the Mona Lisa was hanging slightly crooked in the Louvre. It doesn't ruin the masterpiece, but it just seems off. The other glaring issue is the lack of third-party gaming support. With billions of transistors, advancements in graphics performance, and Apple's neural engine, you'd think that more mainstream games would become more available here, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And I get that this is not entirely Apple's issue, but I just wish there was more of a strategy from Cupertino to get AAA titles on this machine day and date. But hey, this has been an issue for decades, so it's not as bitter a pill to swallow. 6 days a week, I'm driving this laptop for hours at a time. Less intensive tasks are done outdoors or around the house, while more demanding operations happen while I'm docked at my desk. The ability to plug in a single cable through the Thunderbolt 4 port and have access to Ethernet, expansion slots, card readers, webcam, microphone, video mixer, and more, well, that's like when the Power Rangers call upon Titanus to power up the Megazord into Ultrazord. Look, I tried to find a better analogy, but that just fit right. And listen, to be honest, the theme song still slaps. The M1 MacBook Air is a computer with a remarkably high ceiling that'll ensure plenty of room for growth for creators. Being able to shoot tethered in the field or endlessly scroll Reddit at home and know full well that you can do just about any creative task in between is empowering. It's a machine that does things so well, so often, that you think less about it and just get to what you need. After months of using this machine for my personal and professional work, I can honestly say that this is the first computer that most creatives should consider bringing if they want a serious upgrade to their workflow. It's simply that good. Did I say bringing? I meant buying. This is the first thing you should consider buying, but I guess you can bring it into your workflow. Okay, back on track. Personally, the configuration I opted for is 16 gigs of RAM with 1 terabyte on the SSD. Now, if you're looking to decide which one's right for you, if you're gonna be doing some video work, I will say that 16 gigabyte upgrade is worth it. It gives you a higher ceiling, a little bit more peace of mind. Next, upgrade the SSD as needed, but keep in mind, you can just plug in a portable T5 or T7 SSD from Samsung into that port and expand your storage with a very fast and reliable solution. So really up to you if you want to upgrade that SSD at the time of purchase. After all this time though, I can't help but think, is an upgrade really necessary for me from this laptop? With all the noise about the MacBook Pro, the upgrade to the M1 chip, and many more ports and a larger display, it's hard not to be intrigued. The work that I personally do may push me to the further end of that bell curve, but I have to wonder if the upgrade in features is worth the sacrifice in portability and silence. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure. But if I do make that jump to another solution, I'll be sure to let you know why. Until then, be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below and whether or not this machine is on your radar. But until then, as always, my name's Gadgen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.